y'all, it's Kim again. So this document, like I said, I want to continue recording some of this stuff. This particular document is from the Robert Hur, Joe Biden classified documents report or whatever you call it, interview. This is the actual report. I did the interview with the transcript and everything and the audio last week. I had to kind of put them both together, let it just play. But this is the actual report from Robert Hur concerning Joe Biden. But anyway, let's just go ahead. This is chapter one of this. It's 388 pages, y'all. We've already got through quite a few pages, even with the JFK stuff, the documents for the Joe Biden, even the transcript portion had a lot of pages, probably about 200 something, almost 300. But anyway, it says chapter one, legal framework governing classified information. The Constitution vests the president though, with authority to classify and control access to information bearing on national security. At the time that Joe Biden had these documents, he was actually vice president. And then there was even things that they said he kept from when he was a senator, and he was not supposed to do that. But either way, by executive order, presidents since Franklin Roosevelt have prescribed a system for classifying and safeguarding national security information. In 1994, Congress directed the president to establish by executive order or regulation uniform procedures governing access to classified information across the executive branch. President Obama issued the current order when Mr. Biden was vice president. Among other things, the order sets forth rules that determine whether a person may access classified information and how that information must be handled. The 1994 statute, and by implication, the current executive order governing classified information, do not apply to sitting president or vice president, members of Congress, justices of the Supreme Court, and federal judges. There is, however, no statutory exception for a former president or vice president, and the restrictions on access to classified information in the executive order and the rules prescribed under its authority appear to apply to such former officials. The order defines classified information to include military plans, weapon systems or operations, foreign government information, and intelligence activities, including covert actions and intelligence sources, methods, or cryptology. Information is classified only if its authorized or unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause identifiable or describable damage to national security. Information is classified as confidential if its or unauthorized disclosure reasonably could be expected to cause damage to the national security. It is classified as secret if its unauthorized disclosure reasonably could be expected to cause serious damage to the national security. And it is classified as top secret if its unauthorized class or disclosure reasonably could be expected to cause exceptionally grave damage to the national security. The order also sets forth conditions that any person other than the current office holders listed above must meet to access to classified information. To receive such access, a person is required to have a favorable determination of eligibility, generally after completion of a background investigation, and sign an approved non-disclosure agreement, and have a need to know the information. For former presidents and vice presidents, the order expressly allows for the need to know requirement, but not the others listed above, to be waived by an agency. A former official may obtain such a waiver only if a senior official of the agency that originated the classified information determines in writing that access is consistent with the interests of the national security and takes appropriate steps to protect the classified information from unauthorized disclosure or compromise, and ensures that the information is safeguarded in a manner consistent with the executive order. In addition to establishing rules that govern access to classified information, the order also requires agency heads to establish controls over how it must be stored. Among other things, top secret and secret information must be kept in a storage container approved by the General Services Administration or an approved and locked storage area. Information that is even more sensitive, called sensitive compartmented information, and sometimes referred to as code word information, must be stored in an accredited sensitive compartmented information facility or SCIF. And there's some of the laws and codes surrounding that. The restriction described above apply to classified information in any documentary form, whether it is printed, typed, or handwritten. So let's see. Okay, national intelligence, and there's some more. So we're going to stop here. That's part or chapter 1 of this. Maybe I'll see if I can record number 2 here. See how much I can get done. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.